Oh my god, I'm gonna pretend.
Hi, I'm Christopher Edwards and welcome to Amplify South Bay. Today we're talking with Rapada and Willa Marj of Malaya SD, a community organization here in the South Bay that advocates for migrant rights and other issues that impact the Filipino community. Malaya SD is currently hosting a music series called Sounds of the Movement, and we're here to talk with some people from Malaya today about that series. So how are you guys?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having us.
Yes, I'm excited.
So my first question is just, what exactly is Malaya SD and what do you guys do as an organization?
Yes. So Malaya Movement San Diego is a chapter of Malaya Movement USA, and we're a national organization of individuals and alliances that are fighting for true democracy, sovereignty, and human rights in the Philippines. And as Filipino Americans, our issues with our struggles in the Philippines are very much linked with the people back home. So we're really just here to amplify those stories and voices, and using the music series as a way for us to really share those stories, as well as the Filipino community here in San Diego.
And how did each of you get involved with Malaya?
For me, I would say my political consciousness kind of grew in college, and I went to school up in OC. And so when I was done with school, I came down here and I really felt like I wanted to just get more involved with politics and also just my Filipino community.
And I got involved because my middle sister was involved with Anak Bayan, and she shared with me a lot of the education that she learned through the organization, a lot of Philippine history, a lot of why there's so many Filipinos here in the US and San Diego. So through her sharing, it got me interested in wanting to get involved in the community, as well as learn more about, why are so many people here in the US, what are the issues that make people migrate here.
Malaya is currently hosting a series called Sounds of the Movement. Where did the idea for this series come from?
Me as a musician and an artist myself, I actually heard of this album, the one that we're studying in this volume, A Grain of Sand, back when I was in college. And I would say that album really kind of sparked my interest in organizing and just cultural work in general. That's where I learned what cultural work was. And as an artist, that was kind of my entry point and my connection to wait, this can be my contribution to the movement. So I developed this series, one, because I just wanted to share this album with other people. I think that everyone should listen to it, just because there's so many parallels between the time it came out and now. So when it came out in 1973, there was a lot of civil unrest, and there was a lot of anti-war sentiment and a lot of attacks on immigrants. So I felt there was a lot of parallels there that we could draw to now.
This series and the Malaya movement in general is anti-fascist. How would you define fascism?
Fascism is really a tool of oppression by the people in power or the elite to really silence and suppress the voices of marginalized groups. And an example of how fascism is used today is suppressing the voices of migrants, detaining migrants and not using due process, which is a right that people have here in the United States, and really kind of are propagating that migrants here are, our so-called enemies, and we should, and that's why they need to be deported back to their home country, when really migrants have really built this country, as we've seen throughout our history, from the railroad system to just the very infrastructure that we see, all the buildings are, helped created by migrant workers here.
How does Malaya SD, I guess, advocate for migrant rights here in South Bay?
One of our main campaigns right now is the Defend Migrants campaign that we've been waging locally, as well as internationally and nationally here in the United States, and really just providing education to everyone on what are our rights, what to look out for, as well as keep making sure that our community is safe, as well as empowering people to speak up and to not be afraid. and also like understanding the roots of migration, why many Filipinos migrate to the United States, especially San Diego, which, is very much rooted in, like the US Navy, because, there's if you look at the San Diego Bay, you'll see like a lot of like naval ships. There's a lot of like healthcare workers that are Filipino. So really trying to advocate for our community here.
So touching on your personal migration stories, I guess, do you feel that being involved with the Malaya Movement, an organization like this, has helped both of you connect with your roots a little bit more?
Oh, yes. Especially learning like the history of the Philippines and how it's connected to the history of Filipino Americans here has definitely helped me understand like a little bit more about myself and my family background. Like my dad was in the Navy and my mom was a healthcare worker, and seeing how those connections of the work here is very much related to why they moved because of the lack of opportunities in the Philippines. But then also helps me like figure out, okay, like, do I want to continue, going in the same route that my parents did, which is, like based on like their survival, but also like think about, what are other ways that I can also like create my own path? And I want to, like, in general, have always been wanting to help people, whether through like work as like a healthcare worker or through community service. And being a part of Malaya, I was able to really kind of bridge that gap of, okay, like, like as a healthcare worker, I'm working, and advocating for patients, but also at the same time, like outside of like the medical facility, I'm advocating for their rights. I'm sharing some of the information that I learned, and also hearing from them, like what are the issues that they face, and bringing it back to our organization and figuring out how we can create actions on helping people, and also like pushing for more rights and for more change.
And I definitely agree with Anna as well. Being part of Malaya San Diego has helped me connect to my roots as like a Filipino. For me, I immigrated here when I was 2 years old, so I was born in the Philippines. But moving that early, I didn't really have many memories of the Philippines. But yes, through Malaya, I was able to just like learn about the history of the Philippines and also more about my culture and meet a lot of like other Filipinos. And I also think it's just like so inspiring to learn about our history, because it really is one that's like rooted in resilience, and it makes me feel more empowered too as we like wage this movement and this struggle.
This Sounds of the Movement series is a multi-part series. There's already been one part. Can you tell me a little bit about how that went and what the other parts are going to be like?
It was a 4-part series, and each session works as a standalone, so you'll get something from just attending one, but it really is also meant to like build off of each other. So this first part was a film screening where we screened a documentary about one of the members of the band who created the album. And the purpose of that one was to just like learn what cultural work is and to kind of just like introduce that to folks. Because we are getting like a lot of people who are kind of engaging with politics for the first time. So just like giving them that foundation of like, hey, what is cultural work? And really like guiding them through that process. And then this last session that we just had was more of a listening session. And then after that, we're going to meet again to just like share what we've created. It's kind of like a song share, and also just like a celebration for like taking that leap to try something new and to like try creating cultural work and to just like be in community with each other.
What kind of outreach is Malaya Movement doing to the Filipino community, I guess, to get them involved in your organization here in the South Bay?
We've been doing like door knocking into various neighborhoods where we know there's like a larger concentration of Filipinos. So a lot of the communities that we've been like integrating with is in National City mostly, because there's a large like concentration of working class Filipino migrants. Flyering in front of like Seafood City, in front of like the different parks where we know a lot of like Filipinos gather. Even working with other various like Filipino organizations and artists who are around this area.
How can people get involved with Malaya Movement SD? Do you guys have any upcoming events that coming up?
So one of the events that we're holding is a Southern California-wide What is Fascism ED. So bringing the local issues of different areas in Southern California and how fascism is present in those communities. So we'll be hearing from various chapters of Malaya. So folks from LA, from Long Beach, Carson, and leading up to the People's State of the Nation address, cultural celebration and rally, which will be at the end of this month, but will be in LA. And then here locally, we're building up to a benefit concert for the Defend Migrants campaign, which will be in August 16th. We'll share more information on that on our Instagram at malayasandiego.sd. But for folks that want to get involved, they can always reach out to us via Instagram or through our email, and we'll be happy to meet up with people. And we are trying to set up like monthly orientations for folks to get to know Malaya Movement more. But also, come to our music series, come to the various actions, and yeah, also we're always around the different communities, so don't be afraid to say hi to us.
Okay, thank you guys so much for talking with me. Thank you for joining us for today's Q&A.